every writing assignment is a different creature. Thus, each one brings about a different plan of attack. The assignment assessment always comes first, though. I need to build a psychological scaffold upon which to hang my ideas. This first step involves reading and rereading the rubric for the assignment. Usually, I take notes of my direct thoughts on the assignment sheet itself, so that I can recall my instant opinions and raw ideas. Then, I begin peripheral study of my raw ideas. I do general web searches, rather than starting with academic journals, for example, to ensure that I have larger ideas worth pursuing. After I have a few pieces of blank fabric draped over my scaffolding, then I find ideas to sketch upon it. I find details. Once I have a broad base of material to choose from, I decide what abstracts or summaries to read in depth and weed out the others. I take a highlighter and pen to the surviving items, and open Notepad on my PC or TextEdit on my Mac to start typing ideas. Shifting from tactile writing to typing helps me make the mental transition from pre-writing into the main phase of composition. After having read, highlighted, and annotated my sources, I put each article in front of me, and write as much as possible coming from each note as I can. This helps build a text base to work from in the final phases of my writing process. The use of Notepad or TextEdit is important to me, because I'm forced to not think about editing or formatting. I watch too many writers sit at their computers fussing with the settings in Word, and never actually start writing until time is short. This part of my process is about removing that distraction. Once I have my digital notes, I move into a word processor and set up my page, the place I was suggesting that many people begin without having done research or any pre-writing. Now I have ideas, text, quotes, paraphrases, and a frame to put them in. From here, I begin writing my introduction, which is easy, since I have a good grasp of the concepts now, having gone through the previous steps. After introducing the paper, and composing a starter thesis of some sort, I begin pasting in my digital notes, and organizing them in the order that suits my topic. Now, my scaffolding has a clear shape with the beginnings of identifiable features like paragraphs. The length isn't what it will be, but the ideas are in order, leaving room for embellishment, of course. Now, I can easily move from thought to thought and add details, expound upon quotes and ideas, or cut material at my whim. After exhausting an hour or two on the middle composition phase, I step back. Usually, the paper is left alone for a day or so to rest, like a good steak needs to immediately after grilling. When I come back to my paper, I look at it first, as a whole, studying the structure of my ideas, taking advantage of the distance I've taken from the document. After I've made any needed tweaks, I start to read the paper from top to bottom, and do the same for the content. I use this time to add or subtract any extra content that I find the paper needs. Sometimes I repeat this step several times, leaving gaps of time as I need to re-evaluate the document. This is a good time to catch up on a missed episode of The Office, for example. After the bulk of my writing, the physical typing, is done, I read the document a final time for myself, usually in a half-grumbling, half-out-loud fashion before handing the paper off to a friend to read. I don't often care if the friend is an English person or not, only if they are willing to read and give a simple opinion. Beyond that, I may or may not make further changes depending upon how I think the audience of the paper. I would call this document a Spinel Tap B/C. It came straight from my brain with no changes.